Tom lived in a small wooden house at the edge of a quiet town in Virginia. His house was old, but clean. The roof leaked during heavy rain, and the floor creaked when he walked. Still, Tom loved it. It was the only home he ever knew. He worked on a nearby farm, earning just enough to buy food, take care of his old dog Max, and fix broken things when needed. Tom didn't have many friends. People in town liked him, but they didn't talk much. He was quiet, polite, and hardworking. He dreamed of someday seeing the ocean, flying in an airplane, or even just visiting another state. But life was simple, and dreams were far away. One hot summer afternoon, Tom took Max and his fishing rod and walked down to the river. The sky was bright blue, and the sun was high. The river flowed fast after the recent rains. The water was strong, but it sparkled in the light, and the breeze made the trees dance. Tom sat on a large rock, threw in his fishing line, and leaned back. Max lay beside him, tongue out, eyes half closed. Everything was peaceful until he heard the scream. It was a short, sharp cry. Then silence. Tom stood up fast. He scanned the river. For a second he saw nothing. Then he spotted a splash about 30 feet away. A head went under, then came back up, gasping. A girl was drowning. Without thinking, Tom dropped his rod and jumped in. The cold water hit him like ice. The current was strong. He swam hard, pushing against the flow. His arms burned, but he didn't stop. The girl went under again. "Hold on," Tom shouted. She didn't answer. Just splashed weakly. He reached her just in time. Her long hair floated around her face. She looked terrified and weak. Tom grabbed her and held her head above water. It was hard to swim with both of them, but Tom kicked his legs, pulling her toward the shore. It felt like forever, but finally, he reached the edge. He pulled her onto the rocks, both of them coughing and out of breath. "Are you okay?" Tom asked, leaning over her. The girl nodded slowly. She was about his age, maybe 18 or 19. Her skin was pale, her lips blue from the cold. She wore what looked like an expensive summer dress, soaked and heavy with water. On her wrist was a gold bracelet. Tom took off his flannel shirt and wrapped it around her shoulders. Max came running and barked once, then sat quietly nearby. "You saved me," the girl whispered. Tom gave a small smile. "I wasn't going to let you drown." She looked at him strangely, like she was confused. "You don't know who I am?" Tom shook his head. "Should I?" She stared at him for a moment, then looked away. "No, maybe that's a good thing." Tom helped her stand. "Come on, you can rest at my place. It's just up the hill." "I don't want to cause trouble," she said softly. "You're not," he said. "It's better than staying wet and cold out here." The girl followed him without a word. Tom's home was small, but he made her comfortable. He gave her a towel, dry clothes, a bit big, but warm, and a hot cup of tea. She sat on the couch, hands wrapped around the cup, eyes on the flickering lamp. "Your name?" Tom asked gently. "Maya," she said. "And yours?" "Tom." There was a quiet moment. Then she spoke again. "Thank you, Tom. You didn't have to jump in." "I couldn't just watch," he said. "You would have drowned." She gave a small smile, then looked at the window. The sky had turned gray. A storm was coming. "The roads flood fast when it rains," Tom said. "You can stay here tonight. It's safer." Maya looked unsure, but nodded. Later that evening, Tom made a simple dinner, soup and bread. Maya ate quietly. She seemed tired, but kept looking at Tom like she was trying to figure something out. After dinner, she sat on the couch while Tom read an old book by the fire. Max lay at her feet, already sleeping. Around midnight, Maya stood up quietly. Tom had fallen asleep in the chair. She stepped outside into the cold night air. The wind blew hard. She pulled the jacket tighter and took out a small device from her pocket. It looked like a pen, but when she pressed a button, a blue light blinked. A voice came from the device. It was robotic but calm. Connection secure. Tracking signal confirmed. Are you safe, Maya? Yes, she whispered. I'm safe. No one followed me. I fell into the river by mistake. But someone saved me. A local boy. He doesn't know who I am. There was a pause. Should we extract you now? Maya looked back at the house where Tom slept peacefully. No, she said. Not yet. Understood. Stay in contact. She turned off the device and stood there for a while, staring up at the stars. They looked so clear, so far from the life she left behind. Back inside, Tom stirred in his sleep. He didn't know that the girl he saved was not just a stranger but the daughter of one of the richest and most powerful men in California. And the story was only just beginning. The next morning, the storm had arrived. Heavy rain hit the roof of Tom's small house. Wind blew through the trees outside, shaking the windows. The sky was dark and the roads turned into muddy rivers. Tom stood by the window, holding a cup of coffee, watching the rain. Maya sat quietly on the couch, wearing one of Tom's clean shirts and an old jacket. Her wet dress from yesterday was hanging by the fire to dry. Her golden bracelet now hid under the sleeve. She had tied her hair back and her face looked calmer, but her eyes still held secrets. I guess you're stuck here until the road clears, Tom said kindly. I don't mind, Maya replied. It's peaceful here. Tom smiled and gave her a warm bowl of oats and honey. Not much, but it'll keep you warm. She took the bowl and nodded. It's perfect. Thank you. Max barked once, then sat at Maya's feet. She gently patted his head. The old dog wagged his tail, already liking her. The day passed slowly. Tom showed her around his land. There was a small garden, a broken barn, and a swing that hung from an old tree. They didn't talk much, but the silence felt easy. Maya laughed once when she saw a chicken run after Tom. That sound made Tom smile wider than usual, but behind her smile, Maya was thinking deeply. That night, while Tom cooked dinner, Maya stood alone in the hallway. She took out the small silver device again. She pressed the button, and the same blue light blinked. Secure link. Say your code, the device said. Maya Vega. Code, Cobalt 11, she whispered. Confirmed. Status report? I'm safe, she said. No tracking signs. The boy Tom saved me again. He's honest. Doesn't recognize me or my name. Understood. Should we send the team? Not yet, Maya said quickly. I want to stay. One more day. That is not recommended. Agent Cole was seen in Virginia yesterday. Maya's eyes narrowed. He found my trail? Unconfirmed. But risk is growing. I'll be careful, she said. End call. She hid the device again and looked at Tom through the kitchen doorway. He was humming while stirring soup, not knowing anything about spies, satellites, or danger. For a moment, she wished she were just a normal girl. After dinner, they played a game of cards by the fire. Maya seemed happier. She laughed when Tom made silly guesses, and she told him about fake memories, made-up stories about growing up in California near the beach. Tom listened with interest, not realizing which parts were true and which were lies. But when Maya asked him about his dreams, he answered honestly. I want to see more, Tom said. Not just farms and muddy roads, maybe the ocean. Maybe space. Someday, Maya tilted her head. Space? Tom chuckled. I know. Sounds crazy. But my grandpa used to say, even poor kids can look at the stars and make plans. I like that. Maya smiled softly. It's not crazy at all. Outside, thunder cracked across the sky. Lightning lit up the trees. But inside, the small house felt warm and safe for now. The next morning, the storm was starting to pass. The air was fresh and light rain fell gently from the sky. Tom opened the front door and found the muddy road clearing. You might be able to leave soon. he said. Maya looked sad. Yeah, I guess I have to. Tom noticed her voice had changed but didn't ask. He simply nodded and began packing a small bag of food for her trip. As they stood outside, a black car rolled slowly up the road. It looked very out of place in Tom's town, shiny, clean, and high-tech. The windows were dark, and the engine was quiet. Maya looked at it inside. They found me. Tom looked confused. Friends of yours? She nodded. Yes. Something like that. The car stopped, and the back door opened. A man in a black suit stepped out. He wore glasses and didn't smile. Miss Vega, he said. Your father is waiting. Tom turned to Maya, surprised. Vega? Maya looked at him. My full name is Maya Vega. My father is Harlan Vega. Tom blinked. The tech billionaire? She nodded. That's why I didn't say it before. I just wanted to be me for once. Tom stepped back. Everything suddenly made sense. Her clothes, the golden bracelet, the strange device. I didn't want you to treat me differently, Maya said softly. Tom shook his head. I wouldn't have. She smiled sadly. I know. Maya turned to the car, then paused. She looked back at Tom. Thank you, she said. For everything. You didn't ask questions. You didn't try to take anything. You just saved me. Tom shrugged. Anyone would have done the same. No, Maya said. They wouldn't have. Then she stepped into the car, and the door closed. The car drove away, its tires splashing through the wet road. Tom watched until it disappeared down the hill. The house felt suddenly very quiet. That evening, Tom sat alone on the porch with Max beside him. The stars began to appear in the sky one by one. He looked up at them, thinking. He didn't know if he would ever see Maya again. But far away, in a mansion in California, Maya stood in her large glass room, looking at the same stars. She held the silver device in her hand. Begin search, she whispered. Searching for what? The device asked. She smiled. For information on Tom, the boy who saved my life. 2 days had passed since Maya left Tom's quiet life in Virginia. The sun rose slowly over the hills. Tom fed the chickens, fixed the old fence, and cleaned the barn. Life was back to normal, or so he thought. That morning, while drinking coffee on his porch, Tom heard a strange sound in the sky. A loud buzz, then the whirring of blades. He looked up and saw not one but 3 news helicopters flying above the trees. They circled around and began to land near the open field next to his house. Tom stood up in shock. Max barked loudly. In just a few minutes, reporters in suits ran toward his house with flashing cameras, microphones, and loud voices. Are you Tom from Ridge Hill? Did you really save Maya Vega? How did you feel when you found out she's the daughter of Harlan Vega? Do you have feelings for her? Is it true you refused reward money? Tom raised his hands. Wait, I don't know what you're talking about. Inside his house, his old phone was ringing nonstop. His mailbox overflowed with emails. Even people from town were calling him, asking if it was true. Then Tom turned on the tiny TV in his kitchen. A breaking news story was playing. Maya Vega found alive thanks to unknown farm boy hero. Maya Vega, daughter of the world's richest tech creator Harlan Vega, was found in Virginia after vanishing during a private security breach. Her life was saved by a young local man named Tom, who pulled her from a raging river and gave her shelter without knowing her identity. Tom stared at the screen, speechless. The video showed Maya, wearing clean clothes, standing in front of reporters in California. He didn't ask who I was, she said on camera. He didn't want anything from me. He saved me because it was the right thing to do. I owe him my life. Tom sat down slowly, his heart racing. His quiet life was gone. By afternoon, the road near his house was packed with visitors. Fancy cars parked near his old fence. Big brands and companies sent him letters, offering money, interviews, and even free vacations. One company offered him $200,000 just to wear their jacket in a photo. Tom didn't know what to do. Then a large black car drove up the hill. It stopped quietly, and two men in black suits stepped out. They spoke politely and handed Tom a white envelope. "This is from Mr. Harlan Vega," one of them said. Tom opened it slowly. Inside was a handwritten letter. "Dear Tom, thank you for saving my daughter. Words are not enough. I would like to meet you. You are invited to our home in California anytime. A jet is ready for you at the nearest airport." Harlan Vega. Tom blinked. "A private jet?" The man in the suit added, "We can take you to the airport now, sir." Tom looked down at his muddy boots, his calloused hands, and his dusty jacket. "Can I bring my dog?" he asked. The man smiled. "Of course." That night, Tom sat on a luxury jet for the first time in his life. It was quiet, smooth, and filled with strange buttons. Max sat beside him, wearing a small harness. Tom looked out the window as clouds passed under them. He couldn't believe this was real. By morning, the plane landed in Silicon Hills, a private city built by Harlan Vega. Tom stepped out into a world that looked like science fiction. Clean flying cars, robots sweeping sidewalks, buildings that glowed gently without lights. A black hovercar took him through the wide silver gates of the Vega mansion. The building was large, with glass walls, hanging gardens, and fountains that floated. At the door, Maya was waiting. She wore a simple blue dress and smiled when she saw him. "You came," she said. Tom gave a small nod. "Still not sure this isn't a dream," Maya laughed. "Come on. My father wants to meet you." Inside the house, everything was spotless and futuristic. A robot offered him tea, and the floor changed color as he walked. Tom felt out of place, but Maya walked beside him, making him feel calm. Then they entered a long room. At the end stood Harlan Vega. He was tall, with gray hair and sharp eyes. He didn't smile, but he didn't look cold either. "Tom," he said, walking forward, "you saved my only child. I owe you more than I can say." Tom shook his hand. "Anyone would have done the same." "No," Harlan said firmly. "They wouldn't have. Most people would have called the media, asked for money, or used her name to get rich. But you did none of that." Tom looked down. "I just thought she needed help." Maya smiled quietly. Harlan motioned for him to sit. "I want to offer you something." Tom looked up. "I'll give you land, money, a job, anything you want. Or, if you wish, a full ride to any university, access to my tech labs, or a place here in Silicon Hills. The choice is yours." Tom was silent. He looked around the bright room, then at Maya, then at Max. "I appreciate it," Tom said slowly. "But I don't want to change who I am. I don't need much. Just maybe a better piece of land. And maybe a chance to learn something new." Harlan nodded. "That can be done." Then he added, "But there's one more thing you should know." Tom raised an eyebrow. "When Maya disappeared, it wasn't an accident," Harlan said. "Someone tried to take her. And they may try again." Tom's face turned serious. Harlan handed him a small case. "Inside is something that may help you one day. Don't open it now. But when you do, the AI inside will only respond to your voice." Tom took the case quietly. He didn't fully understand, but something told him his life was only just beginning. Tom stayed in Silicon Hills for 3 days. Everything felt like a dream. The buildings were made of glass and metal, and they moved gently with the wind. Flying cars passed overhead, silent and smooth. Robots walked around, cleaning, delivering, and even talking to people politely. Artificial trees glowed at night and cleaned the air. It was like living in the future. But Tom never forgot where he came from. He still wore his old boots. He still woke up early. And he still fed Max himself, even though the robot assistant offered to do it. Maya stayed close to him most of the time. She gave him tours of the Vega lab, the floating gardens, and even the training dome where security guards practiced with advanced drones. Tom watched everything with wide eyes but quiet thoughts. One evening, Maya brought him to the balcony of the main tower. From there, he could see the entire city. Lights shimmered across the hills, and small airships moved like stars. "You built all this?" Tom asked her. "My father did," Maya replied. "But I helped design the living zones and school domes. I wanted people to feel free, not trapped." "By glass," Tom nodded. "It's beautiful, but it feels too perfect, like nothing bad ever happens here." Maya's smile faded. "Bad things happen everywhere, Tom, even in beautiful places." That night, Tom sat in his room and opened the small black case Harlan had given him. Inside was a smooth, silver cube. It lit up when he touched it. A soft blue light floated above it, like a cloud. Then came a voice. "Welcome, Tom. You are now linked with Unit Echo 9. Say your first command." Tom sat back, surprised. Hello?" The light changed shape, forming a small ball. It hovered in the air and followed his voice. Voice matched, connection stable. "Echo 9 ready for instructions." Tom didn't know what to say. "What can you do?" "I can search information, unlock systems, control drones, and protect authorized users. I also learn from your choices and adjust to your needs." Tom blinked. "Okay, that's a lot." The eye responded. "Would you like a simple mode?" Tom laughed. "Yes, please." The ball turned green. "Simple mode activated." Tom smiled. It was strange but also fun. He had never used high-tech tools before. I felt like a friend, polite and calm. But in the middle of the night, the eye suddenly spoke again. "Warning, external signal detected." "Not from this system." Tom sat up. "What does that mean?" "Someone is trying to scan this unit. Signal blocked." "But origin is unknown." Tom stared at the glowing ball. His heart beat faster. The next morning, Tom told Maya about it. She took him to a hidden control room inside the mansion. "This room is off-grid," she said. "Not even our own workers have access." Inside were giant screens, maps, and blinking lights. Engineers in white suits worked silently. Maya spoke to one of them, a thin man named Cade. "Cade, check Echo 9's logs," she ordered. Cade typed fast. After a minute, he turned to them. "The scan came from inside Silicon Hills," he said. Maya's face became serious. "That shouldn't be possible," Tom asked. "Why would someone try to scan me?" Cade hesitated. "Because Echo 9 is linked to your voice, and it carries something important, data we haven't explained to you yet." Tom narrowed his eyes. "What kind of data?" Maya looked at him. "A copy of my father's Mena Acor. It was hidden inside the case." Tom stepped back. "Wait, what? Why would he give me that?" "Because you're the only one he trusts now," Maya said. "Not even our top guards. He's been betrayed before." Tom rubbed his forehead. "This is too big for me." Maya placed a hand on his shoulder. "You didn't ask for it, Tom, but maybe this came to you for a reason." Later that day, Harlan Vega called Tom into his private lab. The walls were covered with clear panels showing satellites, data streams, and world networks. "I need to tell you something important," Harlan said. "The people who tried to take Maya, they're still watching us." Tom nodded slowly. "We found signs that someone inside Silicon Hills is sending information outside," Harlan continued. "We believe they want to steal Echo 9 and the I code you now carry." Tom's voice was quiet. "What do they want to do with it?" "If they get it," Harlan said, "they could control every satellite, every drone, every smart machine in the world. Planes, weapons, cities, everything." Tom felt cold. "I want you to stay here," Harlan said. "We'll protect you. You'll be safe." But Tom shook his head. "If I stay here, the enemy will keep attacking from inside. I'm not the kind of guy who hides. Harlan looked at him closely. Then what do you want to do? Tom thought for a long moment. Then he said, I want to find out who is behind. That evening, Maya took Tom to the training dome. She handed him a lightweight suit and a small arm device. You're going to need more than a dog and an old jacket, she said. Tom smiled. Are you saying I need to upgrade? She laughed, just a little. The next few hours were full of lessons: how to control Echo 9 in combat mode, how to escape tracking drones, and how to protect data using smart firewalls. Tom wasn't perfect, but he learned quickly. He was stronger and smarter than even he had known. Maya watched him train. Her heart beat fast, not just because of danger, but something else. Something she hadn't felt before. Trust. Later, Tom sat on the roof of the mansion, watching the stars again. Echo 9 hovered quietly beside him like a floating light. Max lay next to him, ears twitching. Echo, Tom said. Do you think I can really do this? The AI answered gently. I believe in actions, and you've already done more than most. Tom looked up at the sky. Somewhere out there, someone was watching, planning, waiting. But Tom wasn't just a farm boy anymore. Now, he had purpose, and he wasn't going to back down. 3 more days passed in Silicon Hills. Tom trained every day with Maya, learning how to use his new tools, defend himself, and understand the technology around him. Echo 9, his floating AI, helped him every step of the way. Max stayed close, watching with loyal eyes and barking only when needed. Tom felt stronger now, more ready. But something deep inside still warned him something wasn't right. One morning, Maya came to him with worry in her eyes. My father went into a private meeting with his top advisor, Cole Anders, she said. But he's been inside that room for 3 hours now. No contact. The room is soundproofed, and we can't see anything on the monitors. Tom stood up quickly. That's not normal, is it? No, Maya said. My father always checks in. Every hour. Tom looked at Echo 9. Echo, can you scan the tower? I floated upward. Scanning now. Warning, jamming signal detected in the top floor. Strong interference. Tom and Maya looked at each other. That's when they knew something bad was happening. Tom, Maya, and Cade, the thin engineer, rushed to the elevator. But it didn't respond. Locked from the inside, Cade said. Only someone in the meeting room can unlock it now. Tom didn't wait. He took the stairs, too. Steps at a time, with Maya behind him. When they reached the top, the hallway was dark. Power to the lights had been cut. Only red emergency lights blinked softly on the walls. Tom pushed open the door to the meeting room. What they saw made Maya gasp. Harlan Vega was on the floor, tied to a chair, unconscious but breathing. And Cole Anders, the man Harlan trusted. Most stood in front of a glowing panel, downloading data onto a black cube. Tom stepped forward. Stop right there. Cole turned slowly. He wasn't surprised. You're too late, he said calmly. Everything is already done, Maya shouted. Why are you doing this? Cole gave a small smile. Because your father built a system that no one should have. Too much power. In one man's hands. I'm giving it to someone else, someone who will share it. Tom narrowed his eyes. You mean someone who will sell it? Cole shrugged. Call it what you want. The world changes through power and control. Your father tried to hide it. I'll use it. He pressed a button on his wrist. Suddenly, a blinding light flashed, and a blast of sound hit the room. When Tom opened his eyes, Cole was gone. So was Maya. Security alarms began to scream. Cade rushed in. He escaped through the side tower, used a glide drone. But Maya's signal is gone too. Tom looked around. He took her. Harlan groaned from the chair. Tom helped him up quickly. My daughter, Harlan whispered, weak. Find her. Tom stood straight. I will. In the control center, Echo 9 linked with the city's drones. A map of Silicon Hills appeared on the screen. But Maya's signal had vanished. She had a tracking chip, Cade said. But Cole used a blocker. Tom took a deep breath. What about Cole's path? Where did he go? Echo's voice replied. He escaped on a stealth glide unit, direction west. Speed, 240 miles per hour. Likely destination, Outer Zone 3. Tom nodded. Then we go there. Cade looked nervous. It's not safe out there. No security, no roads, and heavy drone traffic from enemy networks. Tom grabbed his jacket. Good thing I have Echo. Outside, Tom used a small hover bike. Max jumped on the back seat without hesitation. The bike rose into the air, and the wind rushed past his face. Echo 9 flew ahead, scanning. Tom rode for almost 2 hours, deep into the hills beyond the city. There were no buildings here, only ruined factories, overgrown roads, and broken signs from years ago. Then Echo spoke. Signal detected. Maya is inside that building. They stopped in front of an old warehouse, half covered in vines and rust. The windows were black, and 2 small drones circled overhead. Tom looked at Max. You ready? Max barked softly. Tom entered the building slowly, Echo floating close behind. Inside, the air smelled of metal and dust. The walls were covered with old machines, flickering lights, and thick wires. Then he saw her. Maya sat in a chair in the center of the room. Her hands were tied, and her mouth was covered. But her eyes were wide and alive. Tom ran forward, but Echo stopped him. Trap detected. Multiple signals around the room. Auto defense turrets ready to fire. Tom stepped back. Can we disable them? Give me 10 seconds. As Echo floated up, small sparks flashed across the ceiling. Tom held still, watching Maya. Then Echo said, Turrets offline, move now. Tom ran forward, untied Maya, and pulled the cover from her mouth. I knew you'd come, she whispered. He smiled. Always. But then, footsteps echoed from the hallway behind them. Cole walked in, holding a small cube in one hand, a glowing rod in the other. You're very brave, farm boy, he said. But not smart. Tom stepped in front of Maya. I'm smarter than you think, Cole laughed. You don't even understand what's inside the cube, the AI, the data, the power. Tom's voice was calm. I don't need to understand it to stop you. Then he whispered, Echo now. Echo flew high and shot a flash of light at Cole's rod. It broke in half. Cole stepped back in shock. Tom rushed forward and tackled him to the ground. They struggled, fists flying, but Tom had strength from the farm and training now. He pinned Cole down and took the cube from his hand. Maya kicked Cole's dropped weapon across the floor. Cole groaned. You don't know what you're doing. Tom stood up. I know enough. Back in Silicon Hills, Harlan waited on the tower steps. When he saw Maya and Tom arrive together, he walked slowly forward and hugged his daughter tightly. Thank you, he said to Tom, voice shaking. You've done more than any trained guard ever could. Tom handed over the black cube. I think this belongs to you. But Harlan looked at him and shook his head. No, he said. It belongs to the future. And I think you're the one who will protect it best. Tom looked down at the cube. He never asked for this, but now he couldn't walk away. Tom didn't sleep that night. He sat on the balcony of the Vega mansion, staring at the stars. The silver cube rested on the table beside him. Echo 9 floated quietly in the air, its soft blue light glowing in the dark. Max lay near his feet, eyes half closed, but always alert. The memory of Cole's words kept echoing in Tom's mind. You don't even understand what's inside the cube. Tom had returned the cube to Harlan, but the tech genius had placed it right back in Tom's hands. You are the only one who never wanted power, Harlan had said. That's why you're the one who can be trusted with it. Now Tom was beginning to understand. This wasn't just about saving Maya. This was about something far bigger. In the morning, Maya joined him with 2 mugs of tea. "You didn't sleep either, huh?" she asked. Tom shook his head. "I can't stop thinking. Cole worked here for years. Your dad trusted him." Maya looked serious. "And he wasn't alone. Before he was taken into custody last night, he said one strange thing." "What?" he said. "The real key is not me." "He's already inside." Tom frowned. "Inside? You think someone else is still here in Silicon Hills?" Maya nodded. "I'm sure of it. And we have to find out who." Later that day, Harlan called them both to the central control tower. The room was filled with floating screens showing every part of the city. Roads, buildings, labs, and sky. "I've checked every person in my team," Harlan said. "Backgrounds, files, activity logs, nothing stands out." Tom crossed his arms. "Then maybe he's not using his real name." Maya suddenly pointed at a screen. "Wait, zoom in here." The screen focused on a man entering the data vault, one of the most protected places in Silicon Hills. The man wore a guard uniform, but something felt off. "That's not one of our real guards," Maya said. "I've never seen him before." Tom nodded. "Let's find him." The 3 of them moved fast. Echo 9 tracked the man's signal through the tech grid. He was heading toward the deep lab, hidden part of the city underground, only used for testing dangerous programs. As they entered the elevator, Echo spoke. "Warning, signal is no longer visible. Possible cloaking tech in use." Tom took a breath. "Then we follow the trail." The elevator reached the deep lab. The air was cold, and the lights flickered. No people, no sounds. Just the quiet hum of machines below. They moved down the hallway. Slowly, Max sniffed the ground and growled. Then a voice came from the shadows. "So you found me." A man stepped out, tall and calm. He wore no uniform. His face was sharp and his eyes cold. He looked at Tom with interest. "You must be the farm boy who thinks he can save the world." Tom didn't move. "Who are you?" The man smiled. "Call me Gray. That's all you need to know." Maya's voice was steady. "You're the one Cole was working for." Gray nodded. "Yes, but I'm more than just his boss. I'm part of a system bigger than Silicon Hills, bigger than your father's company." Tom narrowed his eyes. "What do you want?" Gray pointed to the silver cube in Tom's jacket. "That. The I code inside it can control defense satellites, energy grids, even global drones. But your father locked it with one thing, a living key. And that key is you." Tom stepped back. "What do you mean?" Harlan answered from behind. "I built Echo 9 to only respond fully to one voice. I didn't want it to fall into the wrong hands. I chose you," Gray laughed. "And that was your mistake. Because now, I don't need the code, I just need him." Suddenly, the floor beneath them opened. Robots jumped out, metal arms, red eyes, weapons ready. Tom grabbed Maya's hand and ran. They rushed through the deep lab, turning corners and dodging blasts. Echo 9 flew above, creating light shields to block enemy fire. Max barked and ran beside them, never falling behind. Harlan stayed close, using his arm device to shut doors and confuse the enemy robots. Tom shouted, "Echo, can we trap him?" "Accessing lab controls, redirecting power, trapdoor ready." Tom and Maya led Gray into a long hallway. At the right moment, Echo activated the trap. The floor opened again, this time under Gray, but he was ready. He jumped and caught the ledge, pulling himself up fast. He grinned. "Nice try." Just then, Max leapt forward and bit Gray's leg. Gray screamed in pain. Tom rushed in and tackled him hard. The cube fell from Tom's jacket and slid across the floor. Gray reached for it, but Maya kicked it away. Echo 9 hovered above him, target locked. "Warning, move and you will be paralyzed," Gray growled. "This isn't the end. There are others." Tom said quietly, "But not today." Harlan's security team arrived and took Gray away in strong cuffs. The danger for now was over. Back in the Vega mansion, Tom sat with Maya and Harlan in the library. Max lay sleeping at his feet. Harlan looked tired but proud. "You handled yourself better than any trained agent," he told Tom. Tom shook his head. "I'm just a simple guy who was in the right place." "No," Maya said. "You were the right person." Tom looked at the cube in his hands. "What happens now?" Harlan said. "We destroy it." Maya raised her eyebrows. "Are you sure?" Harlan nodded. "It's too dangerous. If one person can use it, another can steal it. It's better gone." Tom placed the cube in a special chamber. Echo 9 hovered beside him. "Last chance. Do you wish to erase?" Tom looked at Maya. She nodded. Double quotes yes. He said that the cube melted into light, then dust. It was over. That night, Tom walked the rooftop garden with Maya. The stars were clear again. No more secret enemies? He asked with a smile. "Not today," she replied. They sat quietly watching the sky. Maya turned to him. "What will you do now?" Tom smiled softly. "I think I'll go home. Back to Virginia. Fix my fence. Plant new crops." Maya looked down. "You're really going?" Tom looked at her. "You could visit sometime." She smiled. "I think I will." Weeks had passed since the incident in Silicon Hills. The city was safe again. The cube was gone. Gray was locked up, and Cole had vanished without a trace. Tom had kept his promise. He returned to Virginia. Life on the farm was simple again. Tom repaired the old fence, cleaned the barn, and planted fresh corn. He walked Max through the fields every morning. The cool wind, the scent of the earth, and the silence of the countryside brought peace back to his heart. But part of his mind still lived in California, where a girl named Maya Vega had smiled at him under the stars and whispered, "You could visit sometime." Tom missed that voice. One morning, he was fixing the tractor when Max barked loudly. Tom turned and saw dust rising on the road. A black car was heading toward the house. Tom wiped his hands and stood still. The car stopped. The door opened slowly. Maya stepped out. She wore jeans, a white shirt, and sunglasses. Her hair moved gently with the wind. A soft smile formed on her face as she saw him. Tom blinked, not sure if he was dreaming. "I hope I'm not too early." "For harvest season," she said playfully. Tom laughed. "You came." "I said I would," Maya replied. They stood for a moment, the sunlight around them warm and quiet. Tom spoke. "You didn't bring Echo?" Maya smiled. "Echo needed a rest." "It's just me this time." They spent the day walking through the farm. Tom showed her the fields, the lake where he first learned to swim, and the tree he used to climb as a boy. Maya listened carefully. Her eyes filled with calm joy. At sunset, they sat on the wooden porch with cold lemonade. Maya looked at the open sky. "This place feels like a different planet." Tom nodded. "Yeah. Out here, no one's building drones or fighting over codes." She turned to him. "But you still saved a city. That's something no one can forget." Tom looked away. "I don't want to be famous. I just want peace." Maya was quiet for a moment. Then she reached into her bag and took out a small device. It looked like a metallic coin. "What's that?" Tom asked. She placed it on the table. A blue light appeared above it. A map formed in the air, showing locations all around the world. Tiny dots blinking. "These," Maya said, "are Echo 10 modules. Your design helped improve them." "My design?" Tom looked surprised. Maya smiled. "You gave us a new idea. A defense SAI that's not controlled by power, but by values. Each new eco listens to local people, not governments. They're like guardians, quiet ones." Tom blinked. "I didn't do that." "You inspired it," Maya said. "And you have a choice now. You can walk away, or..." You can lead something new. Tom stared at the map. He could see blinking dots in deserts, cities, forests, even deep oceans. He took a deep breath. What do you mean, lead something new? Maya replied, we need someone who understands both worlds, a man of the soil and the sky. I told my father. He said if you ever wanted, there's a team waiting. You don't have to say yes. Not now. Tom leaned back in his chair. The crickets had started singing. The stars were beginning to shine. He looked at Maya. I'm just a farmer. Maya looked back. You're more than that. You're the kind of person the future needs. That night, Tom sat in his room alone. He looked at the fields outside his window. The wind moved softly through the crops. Max lay on the floor, watching him silently. Tom opened a small box beside his bed. Inside was a photo of his parents. He smiled at it. Then he looked at a new badge Maya had given him, small silver, with a symbol of a tree wrapped in stars. He placed the badge beside the photo and whispered, maybe it's time. The next morning, Tom stood by the lake with Maya. He threw a rock into the water. I've made my decision, he said. Maya turned to him. I'll help, but only if I can still come back here. She smiled brightly. That's the deal. You stay human. You stay grounded. Tom nodded. Then let's start. 3 months later, a small command center was built quietly under Tom's barn, hidden from the world. From there, Tom helped guide Echo 10 operations in disaster zones, war regions, and peaceful towns. He made sure the system was never used for control, but always for protection. Max became the unofficial mascot of the command team. Maya visited often, sometimes with tech updates, sometimes just to sit on the porch and drink lemonade. Tom never asked for money, never asked for fame. He just made sure the future stayed safe for everyone. One evening, as the sun painted the sky orange, Tom and Maya sat together watching the horizon. Maya whispered, do you ever miss the old days, before all this? Tom thought for a moment. No, he said, because I never imagined the future could be this beautiful. Maya smiled. They sat in silence, side by side, watching the stars rise again, just like the first night they met.